what an honor it is to bring in one of the cats from Muscle Shoals, play with the Rolling Stones quite a bit, and also a venerable player in the greater Tuscaloosa area with Ray Reach, so many other things. Wayne Perkins, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Thank you, brother. I've been looking forward to this.
It's a high honor, man. Wayne, I wanted you to talk about how you learned to deal with the music racket and just play music for the love of the music.
Well, I'd seen some different things in the local industry around here as far as booking gigs, and I'd learned a few things about how to watch different things, promoters, bookers, and all that. And then that was my first little lesson, kind of like a used car dealership. And it was just kind of funny, but a quick lesson. And I started learning about it after I got a call to go to Muscle Shoals. And I was working in bands all over town here, 2 or 3 different bands. And a guy had talked to me about going up there and joining with him in the studio band. They needed a guitar player, so I was pretty much tired of doing what I was doing down here, and I liked the adventure anyway. So I ended up going to with Jasper Greeno, the drummer. I went to Clint Ivy's studio and started working with his section up there, recording Percy Sledge and a couple other people, and it was just fun to branch off into that. It was real cool and different for me, you know.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What can you talk about? A couple of the bands that you were in before you went to Muscle Shoals?
There were a couple. The first, I guess, really, it was a copy band, a group called The Colors, and we worked up a little bit of everybody. We did a lot of just early rock stuff, like we did some Stones, we did some Kinks, and the Beatles stuff for sure. But we just kind of did a little bit of everything. Everybody, the Turtles, whatever we could do. But there was a group called The Colors, and then the ones that started really rocking or doing different kinds of stuff was a group called the Vikings that I was in.
Wow!
And so I stayed with them for about a year or so, and then. One night, Jasper Greeno, this guy, we were playing an outdoor gig somewhere. I think it might have been a fair or a stadium or something. But he come up and, me and the guitar player, Charlie, had been at odds over this gorgeous redhead. And so we were just trying to decide on what the hell we wanted to do. And so anyway, I was about had it with him anyway. But he was a guy. He was really a hell of an influence. He taught me how to write songs and start out like that. But Jasper said, "You want to try the studio gig?" I said, "Why not?" I said, "What's it paying?" He said, $100 a week. I said, "Sure." So we drove by Charlie, and I threw all my clothes in a garbage bag and threw them in the back seat, and we were off to Muscle Shoals.
Did you get a chance to taste the touring circuit with the Vikings? Like, what was the touring circuit like?
We had local gigs around in Alabaster and Sylacauga, Calera, different places, and we worked. There was a tour. Let's see, what was the name of the agency? Southeastern Attractions. Richard Dingler. There was another name for it at that time, though.
Was it like a Chitlin circuit kind of thing?
It was kind of like that, but it was like pop bands and stuff, skating rinks and auditoriums and stuff. But it was a lot of fun, and we got to see a lot of people and a lot of chicks. It was just wall to wall people come out to see us. As long as you had a little bit of long hair, and could play loud, so we were doing good.
Tell me like one thing that you would say to younger cats today. I know it's a totally different world, but what did you learn the most about the racket that you never made the same mistake?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of hard to say as far as a local racket and watching all these, the promoters and the people like that. You just got to watch how they book you and see check your prices with the people that are booking the gigs and just watch how they do you. And just have a friendly little local attorney somewhere to keep things straight. That's always a good backup plan. I never went, don't leave home without it, right?
Dude,
so
it's such an honor to talk to Wayne Perkins, man. No, I dig. I mean, it's hard because it's fair to say you didn't have to wear 8 hats at Muscle Shoals. You could focus on the art itself. You didn't have to promote. We were a record-based, commerce-based record industry, so people were listening on the radio. We were an auditory learning society. You didn't have You didn't have to sell merch. You didn't. No. I mean, can you talk about how?
None of that. They were coming out of New York City. Well, see, right. Muscle Shoals was happening. They were doing hits from 65 or so with Wilson Pickett, Aretha Franklin, and all these people. Wow. And they were Fame Studios. They were cutting hits over there, and the Swampers, which I became part of, that was the Fame Rhythm section at first, and then they became the Muscle Shoals Swampers after they bought Muscle Shoals Sound over on Jackson Highway. And that's when I first got up there. I started working one block below there, which was Quinn Ivy's studio, and stayed in his section about a year. And the guys from Muscle Shoals Sound, Roger Hawkins, Barry Beckett, David Hood, and Jimmy Johnson, started coming down the road to see me.
Wow.
And so they offered me to come up and do some demos with them,
Wow.
And they had a catalog. It was no picnic, let me put it this way. They had a catalog of about 1,000 songs, and we just go in and pick the ones that we wanted to demo. And we demoed about half that catalog. But so it was no picnic, but it was a lot of fun. And sure tested your brain, that's for sure.
Did you guys have unlimited studio time at Fame?
Well, it was not at Fame so much. I mean, that was Rick's operation.
Right.
But Muscle Shoals Sound, this was the way that we did that stuff there was their catalog and the songs. They were different writers around and things, people they were going to sign or maybe. But things they were publishing, they just had to have great demos on. But the studio time we weren't being charged for when they didn't have a session booked in there. We just start cutting the songs, and that would go in the catalog, the ones they wanted to keep. So it was, it was like that.
How much, can you tell a story about a session where, it's funny, I saw this amazing band last night, young cats, playing like really groovy original rock jam music, and a couple of the cats, they're wearing headphones. And, I was talking to the keyboard player, I'm like, where, that's their monitors. They don't have monitors on stage. Those are their monitors. But they lose the environmental sound. And, I've had situations where I remember Willie Hall, a great drummer from Stax, took over after the Bar-Kays crashed. And, he was talking about
You talking about Al Jackson?
Al Jackson, yeah, exactly. But he was, I mean, the point is, Wayne, like, what I want you to talk about is a session where the Saturday Night Fever, that group of cats, they were like obsessed with this sound that Isaac Hayes got on a Stax record. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it turned out it was a microphone falling off the monitor. Okay. And like this band who I'm spacing on, they bought a huge soundboard rig and were trying to find that sound and they couldn't. And I just wonder about one of those weird situations in the studio where something inexact or imperfect.
Just an accident, man.
Just an accident, man. That's it.
Go over and knock the mic off of the stage.
Yeah, and they bought $70,000 soundboard, and they're trying to search for this sound, and they can't find it, and they can't find it because it was just an accident.
Yeah, well, see, that's happened in a few situations, and it's some of the greatest shit I've ever done has been accidents. You never know when it's going to happen. I mean, that's the thing about it is it's just, unspoken, man. You just got to go for it. If something happens and it sounds so unique and better and just different, you jump on it,
Can you talk about one of those memories?
Oh, boy. Let me think a minute. Probably one of the first things that comes to mind is in the when I got to England, what I figured after my group Smith Perkins Smith got signed in Muscle Shoals, we got over there and Chris Blackwell knew that I was like a studio guy and had all that because the other two guys had never worked on stage before, so they kind of needed me to hone the thing together. But we got over to London, and he started using me on all this session stuff. We were doing our second album and everything with Smith Perkins Smith, but hell, we're upstairs working on the second tracks and stuff, and he's down in the basement doing Bob Marley's first album, and he come stop me on the spiral staircase here at Island. He says, "Have you got a little time for me to come down and do a little overdubbing for me?" I said, "Sure, what?" It said, "Reggae." I said, "Well, sure."
Oh, I love it. I freaking love this, dude.
Anyway, we had listened to, and I played on one or two Jimmy Cliff things over to Muscle Shoals Sound.
Right.
And that's kind of the thing that hooked us all into coming to London. So he got me over there to start working my butt off. And we got to tour with Smith Perkins Smith, and we were opening the shows with Paul Rogers and Free and all these guys. We toured around with family and different bands.
Wow.
But it was just, it was a lot of fun, and we were a learning experience. But the thing he wanted me for was my studio chops and everything. So it worked out real cool. And I ended up going to the basement down there and working on Bob Marley's very first album. And
stir it up, man. Stir it up.
Oh, yeah, but see, that was not the first song. The first song was the toughest one. See, Blackwell would do that. You get in there and see what you're made of. So I got back in the closet with my dadgum, what was it, a twin? Might have been a Fender twin. And I had a Morley pedal or something I got at Manny's. Oh, it was a Manny Sustainer pedal, but it had a bit of a wah-wah, and I could change the tones on it anytime I wanted. So I got back there and was overdubbing on, what was the first song? Concrete Jungle. And so I got back there and I played, I got like one or two passes, and I nailed the solo in about the second pass. And here come Marty running out of the damn studio, and he had a spliff that was looked like one of them circus cigars. And he came running out there with this damn thing, and he insisted on getting me high.
No way, man.
Are you kidding me? I couldn't help it. I had to.
I would have been right there with you, man.
Oh, you kidding me? Bob, see, he was just, he was great people. And I'd seen, Jimmy Cliff was a Jamaican I met in Muscle Shoals, but Marty was a unique kind of guy. And he came out there and he said, like, we got high and everything. And I had to do,
H, I'm doing the interview.
Tear it up.
Don't yell.
As a kite. I'm telling you. But it came out pretty good, I think. It was just spontaneity kind of thing, just a spontaneous thing of being put on the spot,
I mean, there was no chord charts in that Marley session.
Oh, hell no. It's a head chart. The only time I saw chord charts was in Muscle Shoals Sound when they'd come in there and they have a guy with like 4 tracks. And Beckett would sit down and do a number chart. EAB would be 1, 4, 5, the steps of the scale.
Right.
And so, it was just, all the rest of it was head charts. And I mean, all the studio work I've done in my entire life, I've only seen one, like, laid out 3 sheets of paper, 3 charts, to where you got notes and everything specifically. And I could read and do that real kind of slow, and I'd sit there, and I said, well, that's kind of neat, but it's too uniform. Let me try something on my own. And what I usually come up with, I'd nail something and go, oh, we like that better. So
right, exactly. But I mean, can you talk about, Wayne, ultimately, like, how much of your first road dog experience, what that was like, and, ultimately, what is it like for Wayne Perkins, who's in I mean, it's an improvisationally controlled setting at, Muscle Shoals Sound, or or that kind of swampers and stuff. But the live Perkins. I mean, do you stretch out more?
The live stuff was it was as good as we were. By that I mean these guys were not used to the stage. Tim and Steve Smith, the Smith Perkins Smith band.
Right.
So I had 2 guys I worked with on stage, Trace Harrell and Steve Vainrip. from Birmingham, and I worked these boys to death. We knew every kind of song that we had come up through, and in the early rock days and stuff, and there was pretty tight arrangements and stuff that we had done, but I knew they could take anything I threw at them, so that's how they ended up going over there. And so we just worked our asses off, and I rehearsed real good. I mean, I made sure these guys were tight. And when we started doing the thing and drug Tim and Steve into it, they'd never been on stage. You know, they were songwriters. They had never been in the studio.
Right.
Everything like that was from scratch, man. Wow. It was roll your own, you know. So we got in there, but the thing happened, and Blackwell bought it and released the record, and we were working on the second one when all this stuff was coming down with the Marley stuff. There was just so much stuff going on at one time. But as far as the studio stuff, you just kind of got to wing it, I guess. If you don't know what's coming at you next, which was the thing and the real treasure to Muscle Shoals sound, we never knew what was coming one day after the other. As far as the different artists coming in, there would be different soul arrangements, and then there'd be somebody. One time, who was it came in there? It was Dion's sister, Dee Dee Warwick, came in there.
Sure.
And we did a MacArthur's Park or something.
Dee Dee Warwick.
Yeah, Dee Dee. Yeah, like her sister.
Damn, I didn't even know she had a sister.
Huh?
I didn't even know she had a sister.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I want to talk about the Wayne Perkins. What was the most stretched out you had in a live context where you were able to?
Oh, good Lord!
I mean, here's the point. Wait, this is what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
No one's going to say I'm not comparing you to John McLaughlin, but I think you did have serious improvisational chops. So I'm trying to figure out like what was the band that you were in that played live where you felt like you were able to, you know, leave the head of the tune, take as many bars as you wanted.
Oh boy, there's no question in my mind that it would be Leon Russell from Shelter People.
Wow.
You know, 1973 and 4, I was with him. After I come back from after I was in England and I did all that stuff with Marley and these different artists over there, I came back, and the second I got back into L.A., Leon and Cordell snagged me up at the airport, took me straight over to Shelter Records. Next thing I know, I got a tour. I'm looking at Leon says, "You're the guy." So I ended up being sent down to the church in Tulsa where we worked on the show and everything. And in fact, we recorded I guess it was the Gap Band time. We did a show there with Wolfman and Leon and everything. We did the whole show there, recorded it. But anyway, that band there, the Shelter People, as far as being able to stretch out and jam and do whatever we wanted, Leon was like that. He wanted to see your best. He wanted to see what you got off the top.
Right.
You know, he raced you over the coals. And so it was crazy. He would catch me every once in a while looking at girls and whatever. I'd be...
Yeah, whatever, yeah.
That's what you do.
He'd be like, stay focused, Perkins. Stay focused.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, and he said... He was real adamant about people watching him, his cues, because he would pull a cue out of his hat just if he thought you weren't looking at him or something. He said to me one time, he says, "If I think you're not watching me, Perkins, I'm going to do my best to F you up."
You know what's so beautiful about this? I this is not something I even thought about asking, but
right.
I did a great interview with this cat, and I have to believe that you played with him was the legendary Chuck Blackwell.
Oh yeah, Chuck was our drummer.
Chuck was your drummer.
Yeah, Chuck Blackwell was the drummer for the Shelter People.
Can you talk about his style, like especially like how much more stretched out were the?
He just had a certain beat that was all his. It's like Hawkins had. I mean, you know, the Swampers that we could do any kind of groove thrown at us because it was just that's the way they were. They were doing that before I ever got there, and I mean they were. All those hit soul records, Aretha and Piggy and all that Percy, Jesus Christ, but they cut a lot of great rock records too. But as far as Blackwell goes, he had a pulse that was pretty much just said Tulsa. I mean, he could play with anybody, but he just had a thing that was locked in there. I mean, but now here's my problem because all these guys were friends of mine, Jim Keltner and Jim Gordon. And
God bless you, man. God, Jim Keltner is. I haven't spoken to him in a minute, but he's a dear
will
uncle.
you give Jimmy Lee my best and give him my phone number? Tell him I love him and he better freaking call me.
Dude, I swear to God, I was going to ask you about Keltner because, dude, Keltner is he is one of my spiritual compasses, man. And I knew he was playing at that church in Tulsa.
Oh yeah, but he came down to Muscle Shoals down, and when we did Cocker, they brought Joe in there.
Wait, Keltner was down there with Cocker?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is insane.
Yeah, see, he come in.
Oh my God, Jimmy Lee, man.
Huh?
Jimmy Lee Keltner, man.
Jimmy Lee's my buddy. Man.
Oh my God, dude, I am going to connect you immediately, man. Immediately, Perkins.
Tell him I love his guts, and I hope he gets
Oh man, he's doing. Yeah, I know he feels the same. It's going to be great. Go ahead, man. So
anyway,
yeah.
So he came down there, and Cordell brought him, and Cocker, they were producing this stuff right after the Mad Dogs, right? So
right.
They come in there, and we cut. Let's see, Chris Staten was playing bass, and I think he overdubbed the keyboard later. But I was playing guitar, and Keltner was on drums, and so we get in there, and they go back to the Holiday Inn at night and write songs. And then they come in the studio, but usually I get an idea of what key, something, what's going on. But they were so loose. I mean, everybody, they had a little bit of this and that. So they come in the studio, and so we get ready. We're just goofing around on tunes and stuff. We cut a song. What was it? Pardon Me, Sir. One called She Don't Mind, Black Eyed Blues. But the one that took off was the one that was in E, and it was High Time We Went. I'm sitting there and I go, okay, what are we doing? and Chris Staten says, key E. I said, E. Keltner goes, 1. And that's how it went. we cut the song one time. That's all. I didn't even, there wasn't no chart. I just played the like, da-da-da-da,
Wait, and then, so... But, I mean, Jimmy Gordon, they didn't have double drums down there to record? Because they did double...
No, that's not... Gordon would come to the Tulsa. He didn't come to Muscle Shoals Sound. But, he didn't have double drums in the studio in Tulsa.
Right.
It's just a trap set.
Was there... Like, at that session, there weren't any baffles, right? I mean, it was just everybody in a room.
Well, no, there was some baffles there, but, I mean, shit.
There was no drum booth.
No, it was just a big room.
It was freaking heart to heart, man.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing about it. They use those things just for pretty much separation. And if they got in the way of your vision, if Gordon didn't like it, you move that bastard. Whatever. It just stuff. People were accommodated. The artist, the sound was got. How are you going to get it, But people find stuff they're happy with, and it just melded together. I mean, it's just there was a spontaneous kind of a magic that was going on with each individual setting. Like the way we did stuff in Tulsa was different than Muscle Shoals, but there was a certain kind of magic that had that thing that was pretty much strictly Tulsa and Leon sound. I don't know how to explain it other than that. We cut some stuff with his ex-wife, which was Mary McCreary. Mary Russell.
Sure.
My God, some of the stuff that woman, God, she could sing. But
Wayne, I wanted to know, but in the studio, can you talk about an experience? What I love about those recordings is just that there was a room sound. There was something called good leakage.
Ambient.
Good leakage. Good. It was good. And I wanted you to talk about good leakage. Good leakage in the studio for Wayne Perkins with that room sound and how that added to the essence and soul of all those amazing tunes.
Well, here's the thing about it. I mean, that would be a preference of the producer. I mean, some of that was accidents. It turned out to be okay magic,
Right.
But a lot of it, too, was just the producer, like, if you've got a Glenn Johns in there, he might let us get away with it. But there's some other guys that come out of New York that might not, So it's a tough call. It would be down to the individual song and whether or not the leakage was going to bother somebody too much. But all of that was pretty much thrown at the feet of the producer. So there you go.
Did you like when I interviewed Louis Shelton? Do you know Louis?
Uh-uh.
All right, amazing LA session cat, same generation as you. On last train to Clarksville, the Monkees, he hit a clam, and
Oh, wow.
it became a hit record. David Spinoza.
Spinoza, no.
All right, Spinoza is in Atlantic with Arif Mardin and Dr. John. They say lay down a solo. It was right place, wrong time. He overbent the string. And he's like, let me do it again. And they said, no, that's good. You're done. About 2 weeks later, that song has become a hit on the radio. Right place, wrong time, Dr. John.
Yeah.
He gets in the car with like six guitars on his way to a session. And the taxi cab driver's like, hey, man, he's like, this is my new favorite tune. Check it out. Spinoza's like, hey, that's me on guitar. He's like, you're full of shit, man.
I know.
But the point, here's the question is, what song that became a hit did Wayne Perkins hit a clam on?
Oh, boy. Hell, I don't know.
I mean, Spinoza and Shelton, those guys have accounted for hundreds of records. I have to believe there's something along the lines where you're like, I could have done it better. Can you talk about, like, with the Stones, were you like, was that everybody hitting it once, or was there a heavy overdub vibe there?
No, it was pretty much live. I mean, the stuff that we did, and I mean, what happened, see, is like when I got over there, I was picked up by what was the cat's name that picked us up, played keyboards too. Good dude.
Yeah.
He picked me up at the airport. Anyway, we went back, and Keith was staying at Ronnie Wood's cottage behind his manor house at the Wick. And so I stayed there. We were there for, I don't know, maybe close to a month or whatever.
Wow.
And getting used to each other and just jamming and he went out and we went down the street and picked up a little upright keyboard. And we were starting to mess around on writing some stuff or whatever. Started to, and here come Mick through the door. I think he probably had the place bugged or camera or whatever. I don't know if I was getting into their damn piggy bank. I hope not. But we were just trying to create and have some fun. But I think when you get into the writing thing, it's like it's just tricky turf with those boys.
It's tricky turf because they don't want you to get publishing.
Bingo.
Yeah.
But Keith and I had some great fun, and what a good guy, man. We did some stuff.
Can you talk about like what you a memorable collaboration with him?
Well, I mean, it was just mainly throwing songs out there. It was really a little more loose than what I would do in Muscle Shoals. Things in Muscle Shoals would be structured as far as the studio stuff goes. Coming up with signature licks and this and that. And what Keith and I did, I mean, he had these songs he'd throw out there, and all of a sudden I'd find a signature lick, like in Hand of Fate, and we just start jamming. He says, that's it, do that lick again. I'm going, all right, sure. So we had fun with it, and they were a joy to be around, man. They were just really accommodating in every way, just good people.
I mean, did you wind up getting any publishing work with them?
Well, no, I mean, these were their songs; they were already written,
right?
So I mean, it was kind of just like the same stuff I do in Muscle Shoals. Like I couldn't, if I came up with a signature lick that was
right,
just a theme to the song. Now that might be a different monkey, but this was just me filling in and doing what I do, as a session player. But they entertained the thought of me being the guitar player, because when I got to Munich, Keith, he did this interview with me sitting in the room there, and the guy said, "Well, who's one of your favorites?" He says, "This guy sitting right over here is one of my favorites." He just spit it right out there.
Whoa, man, that is some heavy shit, man.
Keith.
Whoa, dude, you went to Never Ever. All right, let me ask you. Did you ever cross paths with the late great Russell Smith?
Russ Smith, you talking about with
the Amazing Aces?
Oh, he was a dear friend.
Oh, you know what? I want you, dude. Honestly, dude, between Jimmy Lee Keltner and Russell, like, dude, we are completely connected spiritually, and I'm 46 years old, man. Like, this is the most beautiful. I'm just honored to know you, man.
Oh, stop.
Dude, you know, Russell, I never met him personally. We did a phoner like this, but that dude, man.
It's hard for me to walk into a room and see him standing and not bust into a laugh. You know, he was just the greatest cat in the world, but good God Almighty. What was that little record that he did that was, the Burns Brothers?
I'm not even aware. I just know the stuff he did with Levon.
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah.
Dude, when was the first time you met Levon?
Oh, good God.
Oh, my God. Dude, I was just at his barn. We got to get Wayne Perkins up to the Levon Helm Midnight Ramble up in Catskill, dude.
Now, that might be some fun. I never got to go up
Fred
there,
Carter Jr., man. His spirit lives, man.
Oh, good Lord. That might be some fun.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I mean, I've done a lot of jam sessions and stuff, but I heard that's a when it gets down. I heard.
No, you are aware of that gig up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know,
dude, I'm gonna tell you know what I'm gonna connect you with Amy Helm to get you up there. Do you remember?
I know Amy. Amy came down when we were doing his solo album.
Holy
I met her. Yeah, she know who I am.
So what's a memory you have of the band? I mean, you must have crossed paths with them.
Well, see, it was different times. They were doing their
Yes,
thing.
it was, man.
Yeah, it was different times, and I was real busy, and they were real busy.
Sure.
You know, so, but they came. He came down to Muscle Shoals, and we had a big time down there with Becky producing that record and everything.
Oh my God, that's right, dude. He came down to his solo album.
Yeah, we did. You remember? I played some good guitar on a song called Lucretia.
Oh my God, dude, this is so beautiful. You have to understand, my daughters and I, we listened to a live Levon and Russell Smith from 1982,
wow.
Lucretia, man. And like you're not in the traveling band. It was like Russell Bramlett on playing. It was a nasty group, but like Lucretia, man, like that is. It is amazing that you took the solo on that too. I will listen to that.
I played the rhythm guitar. I played all the guitar on the damn thing. Yeah, it was just, that's what I do, man, in the studio. I just look for the perfect thing a signature lick. But it was a rhythm lick, but it was something all-encompassing. So I just had to find something to nail that sucker to the ground. And I think that lick pretty much did it. You know? Who do you
consider to be your I'll just throw out some names here. You may or may not recognize them. Cornell Dupree.
Oh yeah.
David T. Walker.
Yeah.
You know? Can you talk about playing with Cornell? Yeah.
Well, as far as Walker goes, I mean, I listened to some of his stuff and I was impressed. I never really. That was not something I leaned toward.
I dig. Yeah.
Rocker kind of a guy.
Yeah, I know. I know you are.
But who was the other one you mentioned?
What was Cornell? The experience with Cornell.
Cornell. Well, that's more of a boy. Yeah, he was like a New York kind of really polished dude, and he could do the Motown stuff. He could do a lot of different things, and that was something we needed to have all these chops for in the studio. Jimmy Johnson said to me when I first got there, he said, "Here, I want you to take these records home and listen to them. And if I ever ask you for a Cornell Dupree lick or whatever kind of lick from anybody, Dwayne Allman lick on slide, if I ever ask you for this and that, and I got Jay Wexler sitting next to me or Ahmed Erdogan, I don't want you to give me any kind of what look on your face. You just give me what I want, or that's it."
Ooh.
You got it. And that was my intro in the Muscle Shoals sound.
Damn. Are you kidding me?
Oh, hell no.
How many records? He gave you how many records? 12 or 24 or what?
Oh, no. It was like 50 to 100. It was records of every kind of friggin' song you can think of. And I took them on with my little old turntable and just spun them off of the friggin', off in the floor.
Remind me of because who was the other guitarist? Eddie, what was his name? Eddie something.
Eddie Hinton, yeah, he was.
Eddie. Well, now, so you're telling me was he already on site when you joined up there?
See, here's the thing about it. When I was at Quinn Ivy's place
right.
for a year, and they started coming down to listen to me and this and that, and so I got the audition to come up and do some demos with them and help them with their catalog or whatever. But Eddie was doing this duet record with a guy named Kim Coleman, and they were going after a major deal. And they had a big budget and everything they'd saved up for, to do this
Sure.
record. And it sounded great, too, but it sounded too much like the Beatles, I think. Anyway, so we get in there, and Eddie said, I'm out of here. You want this gig? I said, where the hell do you think? Well, first off, he sold me Dwayne's old guitar for like $175. I said,
Whoa.
So wait a minute now. I said, what's Dwayne's old Strat? He said, yeah, I can't play the damn thing. He said, you want it? I said, well, hell, how much do you want for it? He said, $175 is what I got in it. I said, oh, all right, I can do that.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Wait. I mean, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Whoa,
yeah.
man. I'm out, man. I think you just took me out. Dude, I mean, you went out, man. And, so wait, I'm sorry, Hinton. Wait, why was Hinton was burned out with the gig?
No, he just burned out with that Strat. He couldn't play it.
He was okay. So, but I mean, how did it was like?
No. He was cutting his own record, and he was tired of doing all the session work.
Right.
He wanted to do an artist thing, and he's just tired of doing records from everybody else. He wanted to work on his own.
Well, the other cat that I feel in my heart right now is I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I wanted you to talk about your collaborations, relationship, musically, personally with Spooner Oldham.
Oh, Spooner's a dear friend. Now,
he's a beautiful cat, man.
Yes, he is. He's sweet as people. I mean, I swear, talented, unbelievable.
Oh my gosh.
But what a writer too. Now, see, there was a convention of I got inducted into the Hall of Fame with the album Hall of Fame, Record Collectors Hall of Fame in Birmingham not long ago, and he was down there, and we got together and talked about getting together and writing some stuff too. And I've been pitching him songs, him and his daughter, who plugs songs here and there. But we're going to get together soon and try to write some stuff. I hadn't been able to because of my doctor stuff that I've been going through, and so. It's a timing thing, No,
absolutely. I mean, do you remember, when you got down there, it was already Muscle Shoals? It had already gone from Fame to Muscle Shoals?
Yeah, they'd been over there about maybe a year or so.
Right.
And I hadn't done any work for Rick yet at his place. I did some, but I went to Quinn Ivy's place and just went straight in over there because they needed a guitar player, and I needed $100 a week. So there wasn't any money, but man,
Oh man, especially with the cost of living.
It was all about getting up here and getting into the studio work. Because some of my first records, when I heard them in Birmingham, it said, "Oh, those are great soul records," but I had no idea they were coming from North Alabama. So, I got in the pile. Jasper told me that, and I said, I got to find out about this. So that's what got me to Muscle Shoals.
Well, okay, this is important. I mean, Wayne Perkins. I'm not talking about a Suds and Duds or a Cadillac commercial. What was your what was your first studio gig? Maybe you weren't given credit on the back of the album, but it was your first record.
Oh boy, You're digging deep, brother. I don't know.
Hey, brother, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show, man. I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
No, you know what I'm saying? Here's the point.
Yeah.
Do you remember if you recorded prior to leaving for Quinn Ivy, like when you were still back in Tuscaloosa or wherever you were at originally?
Well, I did. Now I did some stuff in Birmingham before I got up there.
So talk about some of that. Whatever you remember, I want to know what you did.
It was just. There was a guy in Birmingham. There's still Boutwell Studios, and Ed Boutwell was his name, and we did a couple of little records. The Vikings had done a record over there before I got with them, and I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was 1966 or so, 67, right through there, and I got with them then, and we also did one. We started auditioning for Bill Lowry, came over from Atlanta.
Beautiful.
And so we started auditioning with him and trying to get things going here and there, and ended up going and meeting with Emery Gordy over at his house, and talking about doing some stuff, and we recorded one thing at a studio called Lefebvre Sound, the gospel family,
Ooh.
and later it became Axis Studio, and I went over there and did the second Crimson Tide record we did for Capitol over there, and Duck Dunn was producing.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me?
No, I'm telling you.
Wait, what year was that? Do you remember? Was it 70s or 60s?
77, probably 78,
Ooh.
right through there. Yeah.
Are you saying you played in gospel settings in Birmingham?
Yeah, well, the studio stuff when we first started out was pretty much the original Babbles was in an old church. So, it was just that vibe was all in there.
Right.
But, it was right there close to First Avenue. But the Babble stuff we did was downstairs in his basement or garage or whatever it was. And it was a neat little studio down there. They did a record there. And then we ended up going for the second Vikings record. We went to Emory Gordon's, what the studio was over in Atlanta, and we cut a record over there, and I can't remember the name of it. Oh, good Lord.
Wow. I need to know this.
You're digging deep. But
no, dude, I'm telling you right now, this is where it's at with Wayne Perkins, dude. This is there's Marley, and there's Keith, and there's all the cats, but, at the end of the day, I guess I just wanted to ask you before we wrap set one here,
yeah.
What is your concept of love, Wayne Perkins? I can hear in your voice that you love yourself and you've tried to give love to the world, and I just wanted you to talk about your concept of love.
My concept of love is respect, and just try to be open-minded and go at people with, treat them the way you'd like to be treated. I think love is just pure honesty, not something that would be harmful to someone else. And if it's something you have to be, I don't want to use the word political, but you have to take your time with it and walk softly, But there's a way to do it that's right.
Oh man, that's very inspiring, man.
It's just I think, and it's magic. It's sharing your best with everybody, sharing whatever you have. Whether it's food or music or whatever, you share it with the world. And a lot of times, I don't ask for a price on anything, and I give to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. These are like Holocaust survivors and people like that.
Sure.
I'll never lay eyes on any of these people. I'm just looking at what the outcome is. And I take God at His word. He says, "I will bless those who bless thee," talking about His people. And that's my tithe of the day.
What is your what is the outcome in your mind, the way you can see it?
Oh, the outcome. He knows I touch His heart, and He gives me new music, and that's a decent trade.
Wayne Perkins, man, I'd love to do set 2 with you next week if you're around.
I'm here, brother. Call me anytime. I'm all yours.
Jimmy Lee Keltner for life, man. Much love.
You too, brother. Take care.
Be cool.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.